Okay, Keenan, let's take a look at these revisions that you've made for me. You definitely took some of my advice, not all of the advice, and of course I've noticed a couple of things that we can definitely work on a little bit more. Again, I want to say congratulations on this amazing wealth of experience that you got. So let's make sure that your resume sells you the way it ought to. First off, something I did not notice last time was this date range in parentheses right here. Let's get rid of that so that it doesn't make your resume look all cluttered and everything. Another thing I noticed, we've got the city, state, and all of your experiences here except for this one right here, Colorado. Definitely needs to be what city in Colorado. Where was the business at? I know it was virtual. And I'm torn about tagging the virtual in this way. I do think it is advantageous to have some kind of comment that it was a remote job to show prospective employers that you do have experience working remotely and that you can be successful in that modality, even if that's not something that you prefer. I think it might work better being included in your first bullet point that this remote position, and then describe it. Or you can switch over the virtual or remote. Remember, remote is probably a better terminology for this. You could actually put that over here as a part of the job or the position description, parentheses, remote, close parentheses. It would look better either as a part of the job description or as a part of one of the first bullet points. It would just clean up everything over here in this right margin a little bit more. So that's just a recommendation on my part. Once again, we do not need to use the SAU email address. You need to have a personal email address, especially as close as you are to finishing up here. You really do not know how long you'll have access to this email once you graduate. Another thing that you might consider getting rid of is you can delete the word cell here because obviously it's a phone number and it really doesn't matter that it's a cell phone or a house phone or a dorm phone. It really doesn't matter at all. So again, it's just one of those wasted space kinds of things that we need to get rid of. The reason that I'm zoomed out all the way is that I want to point out all of this extra space that we have down here at the bottom. So we can definitely come in and adjust some of the spacing, line spacing, to spread things out a little bit more to make it more readable. Notice here how these items down here at the bottom of your experience have some space between them, but right here the Deloitte and the PwC do not have space between them. They're bunched up. So we definitely want to spread things out to be a little more consistent. And notice what's happening here when I'm zoomed out. It's actually cutting off part of this heading for experience, and it's also cutting off this SAU case study team member because we're all zoomed out and things are really bunched up. And once you adjust the line spacing a little bit, that won't happen anymore. Okay, so you see here I've deleted that horizontal line that you had. I clicked it, deleted it, like pressing the delete key on the keyboard, and then click here. In paragraph, you have this bottom border. Just click bottom border, and it should add a nice close bottom border here. We do have a lot of things that are super bunched up, so we definitely want to experiment a little bit with our line spacing to make sure that we're making efficient use of our space, but you don't want things to look bunched up because you really do want whoever is screening your resumes to be able to see what they need to see clearly. Notice we've got, space between these guys down here, Needham, Siemens, and SAU, but there's no space between Deloitte and PwC. Definitely need to fix that. Clicking here, a couple of ways we can do that. Layout, you can do a little bit more spacing before. You can change line spacing altogether. you just have to play with it and see what works. Let's see, let's pause and see what else we've got. I do have a typo here there's 2 points here, and it should be just 1 point. That's why it's underlined in blue. Let's see, I'm going to pause here and jump back in. Okay, Word is also helping us out with a couple of typos that we've got in here. This is supposed to be, it's not possessive, it's plural, so that would be IES at the end. Again, this isn't possessive, it's plural. So pay attention to what Word is telling you are typos and go through and fix those. We've got another typo down here, tripled fraternity size. So I do like that you've added some numbers here. That's really good. And if you didn't have all of this experience at the top, I would say to, punch that up a little bit more, but because I know there's a lot of responsibilities as being a chapter president, but I think you did a good job of summarizing it here in a single bullet point. Just make sure you fix that typo there. Again, I think first off, let's play with expanding some of the line spacing here to make more efficient use of this empty space. Try and put some more numbers or detail into the Deloitte and the PwC remote extern. One recommendation that I would make here is I wasn't quite sure what a consulting summer scholar human capital actually was, and so I just took those terms and I Google searched them, and I actually found somebody who had this particular experience in 2019, and she wrote a whole LinkedIn post about it. This is an article that she wrote and attached to her LinkedIn profile. I would highly recommend you do the same thing here, but look at how she described the work that she did, because she did a great job doing that, and you might get some inspiration for your resume and your LinkedIn profile. And then back to the Google searching, this was the article that I just showed you. We have this Glassdoor article here about Deloitte. Deloitte Consulting has some things, and you can also use these drop downs for some more inspiration on how you can really better describe what you did at Deloitte. So I would highly recommend that you take a look at those things, and then use all the different AIs that we've played around with in class, like Claude and ChatGPT, to help really strengthen up these bullet points. You're almost there with them. You're almost there. I really feel like you could tell me a little bit more about the strength. So clean up these typos, clean up the line spacing, change virtual to remote. And note, you don't want to put remote over here if you already have it in the description somewhere. But change the virtual to remote and take it away from this side over here. Update that email address, and look forward to seeing an updated resume.